Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jessie and this week we're doing a reading vlog, but I'm doing things a little bit differently than normal. Most of the time when I do a reading vlog, I kind of do it the week before I plan on posting it, like 1 to 2 weeks before, and it's only like, 7 to 10 day thing. Occasionally I'll go into 2 weeks, but normally it's only about a week. This one is going to take, I'm going to be filming it over the course of the butt end of October until the beginning of November, just as I find time to read the books I'm going to put in this vlog. I'm actually going to reread 4 books I already had picked out. I'm not going to tell you the names of all of them in case I change my mind. I won't hold the right to change my mind as I go. But anyways, I recently, in October, at least for me, it should probably be, I think, around December 15th for you guys. I started my old blog back up. I used to have a lifestyle blog that was originally a college blog, and then I got to the end of my college career. I was getting ready to graduate. I was pregnant. I felt like an imposter, so I changed it to a lifestyle blog, and then it just felt like I was trying to force myself to share too much of my personal and family life. I was like, no, I don't like it. So I just let it go, and then eventually I started booktubing stuff, and I kind of realized that Instagram, I like doing little mini reviews on there, but I feel like I can't get my full thoughts out, and I don't like leaving reviews on Goodreads because I don't know why, but sharing stuff with people I know in real life for some reason makes me uncomfortable. Strangers are fine. I can share a book review with you guys and it's fine. If I share it with people I know in real life, I feel super awkward and don't want to do it. So I don't like leaving reviews on Goodreads. So I wanted to start my old blog back up, and I got it back up, and I'm trying to catch up on books that I remembered reading and had thoughts on that I wanted to share. So the first book we're starting off with is A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. This book I have a video book review of, and it's also in another reading vlog. So this book will now be on my channel 3 times. But I'm going to write a written book review of it for my blog. And I went to do it the other day and I realized that I really love this book, but it's been so long since I've read it that even with my notes, I couldn't find a way to organize it how I wanted to and to make it make sense. And so I figured it was a good time to reread it. It was a good book. It's not too long. And it was just, I thought it had really good messages and I wanted to reread it. So this book will be getting read twice in 2020 or 2020. Don't know why I said 2020, that's wrong. But anyways, this will be the first book I'm rereading, and I will let you guys know as I reread it how it's going. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I rated this 4 or 5 stars the first time I read it, and I'm probably not going to mess with the rating because it was a good book, and I'm excited to reread this book. It was actually the most popular video on my channel at the time I'm filming this. And it may or may not be in the future. But anyways, as I read this book, I'll let you know how it's going, and I'll catch up with you guys later. And as I finish them, I'll write reviews, and then I'll get the reviews up at some point. I'm actually planning on putting the review for this one up at the end of November. But anyways, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit and let you know how the reread is going. So it's still October and I'm still working on my reread of A Song Below Water. I'm about a quarter of the way through it right now. My bookmark fell out. I think I'm about to start chapter 6 or 7. It's still going through the background stuff again, and so far my thoughts are the same as the first time I read it. So far I'm still really enjoying it. I think the magical element of it being in the real world, but with magical creatures kind of mixed in, is really interesting. I still think it brings up an important message about prejudice and race and everything because of, Black women being the only people who are sirens in this book so far. But like I said, I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm really enjoying my reread. I'm just really struggling to reread it right now. There's just so many books I want to read right now. My library hold of One by One by Ruth Ware came through a week earlier than I was expecting it to. I'm also reading How It Feels to Float by Helena Fox right now. along with like all the books I read in October, and then I've already set up my November TBR and I'm ready to get started on it. There's just so many books I want to read right now, and I'm having trouble picking which one. So I'm trying to get through this one. I am enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying it, and I think I'm picking up more stuff like the first time I read it. Like, at one point, Mom and Theo, Effie's grandmother figure, makes a statement that I could kind of see as foreshadowing for Effie's behavior throughout the book, now that I'm rereading it. And I don't think I picked up on it the first time I read it, because like I thought Effie's behavior was kind of weird, but I didn't ever remember what Mom and Theo said in the first like maybe 60 pages. But I am enjoying my reread so far. There's just so many other books I want to read right now too. I finished A Song Below Water this morning, and I really enjoyed it. I think I liked it more than I liked it the first time I read it. I still think Effie's storyline, or like a specific part of her storyline, is kind of weird in my opinion. That I still didn't like that part of the storyline even upon a second read. But the rest of the book I loved. I loved how Tavia finally, came into her voice and was willing to be an activist for sirens. And I'm so glad that at the end of the book they addressed that she wants to get that Lexi on the Leash show taken off air. The idea of that show is awful to me. But yeah, this was a really good book. I still enjoyed it so much on the reread. Like I said, the only thing I wasn't sure about still is Effie's, like, a part of her plot, because like it feels like both girls kind of have their own plots going on, whereas Tavia's plot mostly follows her being a siren and eventually trying to find a way to come into her siren voice and being comfortable with that part of her identity. And whereas Effie's plot kind of, I don't know how I describe hers, because like you kind of follow her and you learn that she's more than human, or she starts to learn that she might be more than human, and throughout the book you kind of learn what that is. But then also there's the horrific thing that happened when she was a child with all the sprites and stuff, and with her group of friends who were children turned to stone. And so it's very like that part of her story is really interesting. But then the second part that you don't learn about till the very end of the book, and it's probably hinted at before, but even the second reread I didn't get the hints for like Effie's second part of her story. I don't know how to describe it without spoiling it, but either way I still really enjoyed almost every aspect of this book. I would still rate it like a solid 4 stars, really closer to 4.5 or like stars, but Goodreads only does whole stars. No, I really enjoyed this book. Anyways, I'm gonna start my second reread sometime today, tomorrow, I don't know when, but at some point, and I'll be reading Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I read this book for the first time last December as part of my Book of the Month Club pick. This was actually the book that made me get a Book of the Month Club membership. I think the book came out in October or November, I can't remember when exactly it came out, but then I think the month after I got it and ordered it as an add-on. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I know this is one of the first books I ordered, like within the first 3, and I'm excited to read this one. I don't remember a whole lot about it, because it's one that after reading Shadow and Bone, which is written in first person, the writing styles are a lot different, but I'm sure a lot of that's because the Shadow and Bone and other Grishaverse books are YA, whereas this one is an adult fantasy book. But no, I'm really excited to reread this one. This follows Alex Stern, who she's had a pretty rough life, and recently she was the only survivor at an apartment where her boyfriend and a lot of her friends were murdered. And so somehow Yale is like, hey, come work for us as I can't remember what she is exactly, but she kind of keeps an eye on all the secret societies at Yale who involve themselves with magical stuff, like messing with the dead and other powers. And then at some point there's a mystery to be solved. That's the main things I remember from the top of my head off this book. And I read the inside flap, and that's roughly what I got from that as well. But I'm excited to read this one. Like I said, I'll probably start this weekend, maybe next week. I'm not in a huge rush. I don't plan on getting this video out until December. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit after I've read a little bit. Hey guys, it's been a while since I last updated you in this particular vlog, but I've read a little under halfway of Ninth House today, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, once I actually sat down and read it again, it's really enjoyable. I remember, like, I think I gave this book a 5-star rating when I read it last December, and for some reason I was intimidated to reread it. I guess because it's a pretty big book. But I'm enjoying it just as much, if not more, than I did when I first read it. I'm appreciating certain aspects of it more than I did the first time. I think the first time I read it last year, I was reading it primarily because of all the hype around it whenever it first came out. And now I'm reading it because I know I loved it. I know I want a second Alex Stern book to be released, like now. So I'm enjoying this reread so far. I'm enjoying Darlington's character a lot more than I did the first time I read it. Like, his gentlemanliness is sticking out more than I did the first time I read it. And Alex's character I'm enjoying more than the first time I read it. And just overall, I'm enjoying this more this time around. Pretty sure I told you what it's about in like the last clip where I talked to you. But if I didn't, this book is about Alex Stern, whose real first name is Galaxy, and she's been able to see ghosts her whole life. And after an incident, the dean at Yale finds her, is like, hey, come be part of Lethe House, and like, we'll kind of help you move forward with your life, but we need you to help take over watching our secret societies that are able to do magic. That is the most basic way I can think of to describe it, but I like it so far. Also, this year I learned what dark academia is. I didn't know what that was last year when I read this for the first time, and I could say this might be the dark academia, and I like dark academia if this is dark academia. But anyways, I'm probably just gonna get back to reading, and I probably won't update you guys again until it's over. This is a rereading vlog. I've read this before. I know that I enjoyed it and that I was excited to reread it. So I'm going to get back to my rereading, and I'll let you know how it's going at some point. Hey guys, I finished Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo last night. Yeah? Rose talking, hears me talking. I finished Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo last night. Yeah. And I loved it. It was still a 5-star rating. I think reading it a second time. Yeah? Okay. Okay. I think reading a second time, the ending, like, was more understandable to me and stuff. Nothing's wrong with the ending the first time. I just have a really bad habit of, like, getting really excited during the last part of the book. And I have a really bad habit of, like, rushing through it. I don't mean to. It just happens with almost every book. And I'm pretty sure it happened with the Ninth House, too. Because I remembered most of the ending, but not all of it. And so I think, rereading helped me understand it better. And now I'm even more excited for the next Alex Stern book. But, yeah? Oh, yeah. I'm glad you're happy. I'm even more excited for the next Alex Stern book. And I'm hoping it'll be announced sooner rather than later. There's still just a placeholder on Goodreads, though. And then I think I'm going to... Say hi? I think the next book I'm going to read for this vlog is With the Fire on High. And I haven't decided yet if I'm going to read 2 more books or just 1 more. Yeah? Yeah, I haven't decided yet if I'm going to read 1 more or 2 more books. But I'll let you guys know that sometime while I'm reading With the Fire on High. Anyways, though, I'll let you guys know later how it's going once I start With the Fire on High. Yeah? Rowan really likes talking while I guys out. Yeah? Alright, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Anyways, earlier tonight I started With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I read this one for the first time fall 2019 as an ebook on Libby, and this was one I received for Christmas last year, so I'm excited to finally be reading the physical book, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm only 30 pages in, so I'm not very far in. but it follows a girl named Imani. She's a high school senior, and she had a baby, I think like the summer between her freshman and sophomore year of high school, or maybe, I don't know, she had a baby pretty early in high school, and her baby just recently turned 2, and she's just started her senior year. She's working part-time to help, her family and pay for her daughter to go to daycare. She also has recently learned that her high school is now offering a culinary class that also has a trip to Spain at the end of the year, and she's definitely tempted by it, but at the same time she's like, oh well, it'd be smarter if I stuck with my study hall and didn't add in any extra coursework, since I'm already trying to keep my grades up and I'm also already working part-time. So that's kind of what's going on so far. I really enjoy this book. Imani really loves cooking. She's very passionate about it, and she always has been for like her whole life. And the story is like, it's still in the introduction, so there's like a lot of back and forth chapters of being in the present, and then also kind of talking about her childhood. Like she tells a story of like the first time she cooked and stuff like that. And there's also like little recipes in this book, and like I don't think I could follow them. They're probably meant, if they're meant for serious use, they're like meant for people who are natural born cooks, I guess. Like Imani's "When Life Gives You Lemons, Make Lemon Verbena Templique" recipe. But no, I'm enjoying my reread of this so far, and I'll catch up with you guys later. Alright, so first, before I talk about the book, if my hair looks a little rough, I think I overworked it. I've been doing the curly girl method stuff since June, and I think I put too much stuff in my hair on top of, I saw someone like say like if your hair doesn't have a lot of volume, like put it in like a little ponytail, like half ponytail up here, and I think I did that for too long, so I'm sorry. But anyways, let's talk about With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I finished my reread last night, and I really love this book. The first time I rated it 4 stars. I went ahead and upped my rating to 5 stars because it was better than what, I remembered it being. Like I can't remember what would have made me bump the rating down last time I read it, but I really enjoyed it. I will say that I do think Elizabeth Acevedo's novels written in verse might technically be stronger, but just I love this book so much. Imani is such a strong character. She's like a teen mom in high school. She's in her senior year. She's got to figure out what to do. Her family life is kind of changing. It's becoming obvious that, full-time college may not work for her because she doesn't have the grades for academic scholarships. Plus, I think a lot more school scholarships tend to be a lot more sports-based nowadays anyways. And there were no sports mentioned in the book that she did. But she did really well with everything that was thrown at her. At one point in the book, you might think she's a little hot-headed because she kind of just skips her culinary class that she was excited for about a week after, the teacher got on to her for not following directions, because in the real world, if she were working at a job, she would have to follow directions, because as he said, what if she gave someone an allergic reaction because an ingredient that wasn't listed on the menu she threw in. So I really liked Imani's character. She's definitely like a strong character to me. She works really hard for everything she has. It doesn't seem like much is handed to her, which I will say she does have a really good support system for the most part. Her grandmother is willing to help her with her child for the most part. And then also the baby's father, he's not perfect, but he is present, and he does, take care of their baby like every other weekend, I think. So he's not perfect, but he is present, which is definitely a step in the right direction. And by the end of the book, he's making an effort to be more present. And I like that. And I also liked that, in order to raise money for this trip to Spain and also to earn her way essentially back into the class, Imani has to kind of practice her managerial skills, and I think that's a word, and organize all the fundraising events and I don't know what to say else about this book other than I really like Imani's character. I feel like she's just a really strong character. Stuff overwhelms her at times, but she still takes everything in stride and figures it out. And she is really lucky to have a really good support system, but I think just based off the way her character is described, that even if she didn't have her support system, she'd still figure it out. Another thing I liked is that, you know, there isn't really magic in the book, but there kind of is magic in the book because, you know, Imani's food is kind of imbued with almost magical properties because of the way it makes people feel whenever they eat it. And I liked that part in the book. I liked that was added in. And then the last thing I really liked was the ending, because this book doesn't have like this strong, perfect ending. It has like this imperfectly perfect ending where things are kind of figured out and they're moving and the characters are all moving on with their lives. But it's not like, it's probably one of like, it's tied up more neatly than say the Marrow Thieves, but excuse me, it's still not like, you know, just the perfectly happy ending where everything worked out perfectly. Things worked out a lot better than, you know, Imani could have hoped, but they're still not perfect. And so I really liked this book. So I really enjoyed this rereading vlog, and the only book I changed my rating on was With the Fire on High. I know all three of these books were high ratings, and I kind of did that on purpose. I wanted to reread books I enjoyed and was excited to reread and have been looking forward to and thinking about rereading for a while. Thank you so much for taking the time to stick around in this video. If you've read any of these books, let me know what you think. And then as I make reviews on them for my blog, I will link the reviews in the description box. But anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.